Before me and you have our usual discussion, let me try to put this in perspective. Now, Murphy's Law clearly states if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. Now, that just sounds like a very negative person. But when it comes to our fun-loving Krakoan X-Men, it is the gospel. The X-Men have been beaten from pillar to post. This great thing that they created has come crashing down with quickness. And the person who should be most upset about it, maybe not most, but definitely up there, is Forge, because he helped build a lot of it. Do you see the other dread in this man's face? Do you see the fear in his eyes? Orchis didn't put that there. They might have helped, but they didn't put it there. When he realized that Krakoa has been shut down, the first thing that came to his mind was, oh shit, the vault. And it's open and the children are out. I mean, what do you do when you have humans that have been evolved to the point that they are more powerful than your strongest Omega level mutants, and all they want to do is kill you? Well, if you're Deniz Camp, you write a great 4-part miniseries. Hope I'm not putting too much pressure on you, but I'm excited about this. My name is Dorian, this is SEM Comics, and we are continuing our covers of Fall of X with Children of the Vault, #1. So our story starts off in Ecuador. That's where the vault's located at. Now, just like in the Titanic, when it hit the iceberg, it didn't sink right away. It took time. Well, the vault's the same way. Fall of X happened, it didn't shut off right away. It took time to power off, almost about a day. But once that day passed by, just like the Titanic was a disaster, once the vault's walls melted, it is a disaster. So Seraphine 187, that's a fitting name because she's probably gonna kill some people. She's like Professor Xavier. She's a Silver Surfer looking one. She can pretty much read machines all over the world like Professor Xavier can read minds. And she gets caught up real quick on what's been going on with the mutants. And she just kept saying, how dare they? How dare they? So Martello, that's the dude with the big ass hammer, he's pretty much like, it wasn't real. Everything that we accomplished, it was all a dream. And Seraphine's like, nah, it was a prison. So then Cadena, or Cadena, however you want to pronounce it, tomato, he's a Mr. Freeze looking dude. He goes, mutants, their dream was our prison. So Perro, that's a crazy blue looking dude with the visor, he pretty much goes, I'll crush them beneath the weight of 1,000 worlds. I'll make diamonds of them. You know this dude is probably super strong and he has a bunch of screws loose. So Miss 187 herself pretty much goes, no, the world has changed, mutants are gone. The dream is over, we're free at last. Now we need to return to the vault. We must go to the city and reform it. So now we cut to northern Chile and we have this boy, his name is Rodrigo, he's 13. He's standing in a lithium mine. Now this is not something that the book made up. This is how actual lithium is mined, and most of it is mined in Chile. So however you're watching this, whether it be your smart TV, your laptop, your tablet, your cell phone, it contains lithium to make it work. So in saying that, you know this stuff is extremely valuable, and the companies that mine and produce this, you know they're giving the local people their raw deal. I mean, they have to be, because why would this 13-year-old boy be sitting in one of these mines and he takes some and he drinks it, which is pretty much going to kill him, and he takes a picture of it trying to, I guess, put it on social media, and then all of a sudden you see the children of the vault and their big huge city come flying by. So now it cuts to Nathaniel Christopher Charles Summers, or everybody else knows him as Cable. He's pretty much sitting in a Orchis facilities where they're trying to probe into his mind, and he keeps telling himself what is. Now this can mean a lot of things, but to him it pretty much means accept what you can't change and change what you can't accept. We should all learn that lesson. So I love it what the narration says after that. It goes, they called him sleeping, not literally, because Cable stopped sleeping years ago. I'm thinking to myself, how the hell is that even possible? And then I said to myself, comic books. And then it goes, they surprise him on his own ship. And then he's like, which is probably sitting somewhere dismantled on the floor of a Orchis hangar somewhere, along with his arm. And he goes to himself, I really like that arm. So this has been going on for a month. Psychic probes, weaponized talk therapy for a whole month. Why? Because Orchis wants to know his secrets. They want to know what he knows about the past, the present, but especially the future. So as they've been studying him, he's been studying them. And he has devised a plan to pretty much make his escape within 3 days. But he might be from the future, but he can't always predict the future. And 3 days comes in about 3 seconds. There's this big, huge explosion. He falls on the ground. They're about to shoot him because they're saying he's escaping. And all of a sudden, there's like this huge blast that comes out of nowhere. And Cable turns around to see the last person he thought would be saving him. It is Bishop, and these two got beef. I mean, beef. Like Tupac and Biggie beef. Like Will Smith and Chris Rock beef. Like beef. And it all stems from a great story called Messiah Complex. So the foul-mouthed Omega level mutant everybody knows is Hope Summers. Well, she was raised by Cable. Cable was the one who found her. The reason why she was so important is because she was the first mutant born since the House of M happened. And if I gotta explain the House of M, we'll say that for another day. So Bishop comes from this dystopian future. Seems like they're all dystopian when it comes to the X-Men. And he finds out that his future is so bad because 1 million humans got killed in like 6 minutes. He finds out that Hope Summers is the one who committed this crime and led to the internment camps that he was raised in. So he's pretty much going to do whatever he can to prevent this, and he does some heinous things. And Cable ain't trying to have this happen, so I mean, they went at it hard, and they really haven't been cool ever since. Like, even with this whole Krakoa thing going on, I don't remember any stories where they actually like hash it out. So that was your very crude breakdown of Messiah Complex. Why? Because there's a great story and I plan on covering that. So now back to this story. So Orchis guards comes and they're about to fire on Bishop and Cable. Bishop's about to hit him with another blast. Cable's like, oh, time out. We know these guys. Bishop's like, what? And Cable starts to use his mental manipulation. So now they think that they're pretty much serving under Cable and Bishop, and they're there to protect them. So now other Orchis agents come into play, and now they're all fighting on each other. And the ones that were mentally manipulated are saying, for mutant kind, for Krakoa. It's pretty crazy. So while all that's going on, Cable and Bishop are having a conversation. And Cable's like, you come by yourself? And Bishop's like, yep, just me. So then Cable's like, they got my favorite arm. And Bishop's like, we ain't going back for that. And Cable's like, I didn't say I wanted to go back for it. I just said that's my favorite arm. And all of a sudden you see this Orchis scientist and he goes, why is the arm? And all of a sudden all you hear is boom. Whole place goes up. They get out of there. They're running to their bikes. Orchis agents that's protecting them are still shooting, but now they're getting shot. But they're able to make a somewhat clean getaway. So Cable doesn't know anything that happened at the Hellfire Gala. So he pretty much reads Bishop's mind and pretty much gets caught up on the current events that's going on in X-Men. So Cable's like, all right, I'm all caught up. Now let's go to this nearby place so that we can regroup. And Bishop's like, yep, everybody you love is dead and everybody who's left wants to kill you. So now we have the Children of Tomorrow. You can't really call them Children of the Vault no more because they're not in the vault. I love simplicity. I still say, to this day, one of the best rap lines ever was said by 2 Chainz. She got a big booty, so I call her Big Booty. So hopefully that doesn't get me demonetized. But back to the Children of Tomorrow, they have been busy. Using Miss 187's power, they pretty much announced to the world how they are there to make things better, and how the things that pretty much divide and separate us, like natural resources, will be a thing in the past because they're going to take care of it. And to their credit, that is exactly what they do. They literally build homes for the homeless. There's no such thing as starvation because they unlimited amounts of food that they can produce. They also have machines that can heal wounds and extend lifespans. They go around the world and they save thousands of people from natural disasters. So Orchis is talking a good game. They're like, we ain't really got time to mess with these guys because, you know, we gotta finish what we started with the mutants, but we'll just keep an eye on them. Truth be told, they don't want nothing to do with these people, like at all. And they just rather stay out of it. Hopefully they'll just leave them alone and not come knocking on their door because they do have one common enemy, and that's the mutants. So now we cut to Hell's Kitchen, which is Daredevil's stomping grounds. And you got Cable, who's still missing an arm, and he's pretty much butt naked beside some underwear on. And there's this kid and he starts to say, "Hey, aren't you?" And Cable hits him with some kind of mind thing. And the kid goes, "I'm a big fan, Mr. Brolin," who is also Thanos in the MCU. How they're going to square that circle. So Bishop is filling in Cable about the Children of Tomorrow, who used to be the Children of the Vault. And they're both pretty much come to the conclusion that they're not buying what these people are selling, that they know something's up and they're probably doing something nefarious behind the scenes. So they get to a flower shop called Day Springs, which, if you're a fan, you know that's pretty on the nose. And Bishop's like, "How the hell do you afford a safe house here in this neighborhood?" And Cable's like, "I got a deal for it in the 90s. The 1890s. So while Cable gets a new arm put on and also finally gets some clothes on, Bishop is pretty much explaining how things have been going for him ever since the new mutant massacre has happened. And he pretty much explains how he just goes from Orchis facility to Orchis facility, pretty much shutting it down and killing as many Orchis agents as he can. But then he saw the children got out and he knew he couldn't deal with that problem by himself, so he needed to find some help. So Cable has been noticing something about Bishop, like there's something in his mind, but he can't narrow it down, and he had to wait until he got a new arm to do like a further analysis. And he has this like hologram pop up on his arm and it looks like Betty Boo, but he calls it Nurse Hattie, and he has Nurse Hattie scan Bishop's mind to see exactly what the anomaly is. So then after analysis comes back and Cable's like, "It's a virus." And Bishop's like, "I have a virus?" And Cable's like, "Yeah, most telepaths would have been able to notice that, but unfortunately most telepaths are now dead." So then Bishop's like, "So should we have on some hazmat suits?" And Cable's like, "It's not that kind of virus." So Bishop goes, "Am I infectious? Contagious." The word is contagious. So he's like, "Yeah, it does still travel person to person." And he's like, "Yeah, this is some high level engineering kind of thing." And Bishop's like, "I knew it. It was the children, wasn't it?" And Cable's like, "Yeah." And Bishop's like, "So how far do you think it spread?" And then Cable starts to look at everybody's mind and goes, "Pretty far, because everybody there has it." Oh, it's about to get crazy.